Greetings, everybody. Happy Sunday. Closing out the week. End. Hopefully you're well. Working ahead in on my MBA, which is good. Going to start doing more of that. Try to get rid of the procrastination piece. Smoking my Matches tribute pipe, and in it's toasted burley. I only smoke burley in this pipe. Pretty good stuff. Peter Stokely 312. Coming to the end of the bowl. Anyhow, thought we'd have a cup of tea and a chat. Oh, what a crazy world we live in. Been perusing some Facebook videos or YouTube videos and come across a lot of weird stuff. And you get an angle of me this time because I got my feet up. It's Sunday and I'm relaxing. A lot of conspiracy theorists. A lot of craziness going on. Talks of martial law. I can't keep up with everybody. I do think there's another war coming eventually. Probably not tomorrow, so don't worry about it. But I think we're on a collision course with it. I wanted to take a break from all the madness, though. And so I came out to the garage and was reading ahead, reading some other articles. Came across a cool article in Men's Journal. And if anybody's looking for a Buckeye Piper gift, this would be a fantastic one. It turns out that Buffalo Trace has some whiskey that is 40 years old that they're bottling. Now, it's going to be named or bottled as Buffalo Trace 1980. Here's what happened. The distillery used to be known as George T. Stagg Distillery, right? Before Sazerac bought it in 1992 and changed the name to Buffalo Trace Distillery. When Sazerac purchased this in 92, there were some barrels that were aging, and they really didn't pull it into their inventory until 1998. So it just this was barreled in 1980. So they didn't pull it into their inventory, the Buffalo Trace inventory, until 98. It had been sitting in a warehouse under the George T. Stagg name. And this is well before the bourbon boom that we know now today. That everybody loves bourbon. Everybody. Coming to the end of the roll, but I don't want to give it up. Anyhow, when I came across this in 98, I couldn't quite decide what to do with it. So it took them 2 years to figure out what to do with it. They decided, let's pull it out of the barrel and put it in a stainless steel vat to stop the aging process. The thought being that if you let whiskey age too awfully long, it'll just taste like nail polish remover and just be nasty. So it's set in this vat from 2000 until 2020. And Buffalo Trace finally decided what to do with it. They bottled 240 bottles under a name called Last Drop, which they had bought that, I think, a few years ago. So extremely rare bourbon. In fact, again, they only bottled 240 bottles. That's all they had. So technically, by letter of the law, it's a 20-year-old bourbon because it was in the barrels 20 years, but it's 40-year-old whiskey. So they bottled it, and it came out in the autumn of 2020, and I didn't hear about it until I stumbled upon this article today. These bottles hit the market at a retail, get this, $4,600 a bottle. Retail. Who knows what the secondary market's going to do? It's one of a kind, nothing like it out there. For instance, Pappy usually sees a markup of about 1,000% on the secondary market. So do your math, 1,000% on this. You're talking 4.6 million a bottle, if my math's right. I think it's right. Maybe off one decimal place. You guys can tell me if I'm off. Even if I'm off one, it's $460,000 a bottle. Can you imagine? Think about that. At our retail of $4,600 a bottle, there's essentially 25 1-ounce pours in a bottle. In a 750 milliliter bottle, it's 25 1-ounce pours. If you found somebody willing to just charge you what they paid retail for it, that 1-ounce dram would cost you $184 for 1 ounce of whiskey. And you know nobody's going to let you get it for what they paid for it. Mark it up, 1,000%, if my math's right. $1,840 for a 1-ounce dram. No way, keep it. If you happen to stumble across a bottle of this, well, and you're thinking of old Buckeye, and what can I get him for Christmas or birthday next year? That would be a cool one. Just tasting it would be cool. Could you imagine that? Because even though it's in a stainless steel vat for 20 years, it's still going to change the flavors and the nuances. It's going to be unlike anything. It's a 20-year-old bourbon that's set in stainless steel for 20 more years. It's 40 years old whiskey. Crazy, man. The Last Drop. Sazerac purchased it a couple of years ago. That's who bottled it. Came out at 90 proof. So obviously, collector's item, right off the rip. It's one of a kind. Who knows if we'll see another one in our lifetime? I'm sure people are working on doing some weird, cool stuff like that now. But with the boom, the bourbon boom, folks are having a hard time just keeping up with normal production. Hell, it's getting tough to find a daggone bottle of Eagle Rare, and that's not that crazy to find. But I thought that was an interesting thing to take everybody's mind off the craziness in the world and what's going on. Great read. It's in the Men's Journal, mensjournal.com. And the title of the article is Buffalo Trace Waited 40 Years to Release This Extremely Rare Bourbon. So if you're interested in it, it's a great read, about a 2 or 3 minute read at most. It's really cool. Just really cool how they talked about it. And could you imagine that, though? Think about that. It's set there and barreled in 80. They didn't even inventory it into their inventory for 6 years. When they bought the company in 92, they knew they had it. And again, well before the bourbon boom, if they'd have known what they had then, they'd have probably bottled it in 20-year bourbon and sold it for probably a similar price. But it's set, and they didn't want to age it no more, so they put it in the stainless steel, and here we are 40 years later. Buffalo Trace, 1980. It does talk about the notes. See if I can find that. I thought that was interesting. Dark chocolate, almond leather, caramel, and oak to a gentle warming spiciness, concluding with a virtual symphony on your palate. Mm. Be fun just to taste that. Just a taste. Just a taste. Give me a half an ounce for $92. Jesus. Crazy. I'll pass. But if you find it and think of me, you know where I'm at. Anyhow, folks, that's what's going on in Carolina. A little something to take your mind off the craziness of the world. Who knows what's going to happen in the coming days? Is there a coup coming? I don't know. Martial law? I don't know. But with everything in life, I tend to take the middle road. I don't get overly dramatic, but I don't go oblivious into the future either. What's the old saying? Expect the best, prepare for the worst. That's with anything in life. Hell, that's with hurricanes and everything. And that's what we do here. We're always prepared. Hell, in North Carolina, one good snowstorm will shut everything down for a few days. But we were supposed to have snow Friday, didn't get it. You just never know, man. This toasted burley is fantastic. If you could find any, I would encourage you to pick some up. It is discontinued, so when it's gone, it's gone. It's a good, I understand it's a good mixer. I bought a 5-pound bag of it, put it in the cellar, have a jar I'm playing around with. Well, I broke it down into 4 1-pound packs, and then kept a pound out to play around with. Just for fun. Who knows what the future will bring? You know, I always think of that too. If it comes to an economic collapse, what are some things that you can barter and trade? Mrs. Buck and I were talking about this very thing today. Is if money collapses and you know it's not worth the paper it's printed on anymore, how do you get what you need? You know, well, you trade, you barter. Tobacco will be a very, 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 very popular thing to barter and trade with, as will whiskey and alcohol, as will ammunition and guns. Hence the ATF, and I think I've said that before, the big 3, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, right? The big 3. I hope we're not heading for something like that. I don't think we are. Hopefully cooler heads will prevail, but you just don't know. Folks have definitely reached their breaking point in a lot of cases, and some folks don't have anything to lose. COVID's changed the world. A lot of people lost jobs, a lot of people lost everything, so they don't have anything to lose per se. That's what's scary. Don't want to give us a blow up, man. I'm down to the bitter end. It's not bitter, but I'm down. Figure speech. Anyhow, I've rambled. That's today. I think we're going to try to finish Cobra Kai and have a good night. Get ready and start all over again tomorrow. You folks take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. Look out for each other. Wash your damn hands. We'll catch you next time, everybody. Have a great night.